Okay, let's talk for a moment or two about property that's protected if you file for bankruptcy. There's certain assets that your creditors can't take, and if you file for bankruptcy, then your trustee in bankruptcy can't take, and those assets are called exemptions. They're called exemptions because it means that those assets that are specifically listed on a list by the Arizona legislature are exempt from the legal process. If a creditor were to get a judgment against you, they couldn't assert control over those assets because they're exempt. We're including, along with this video series and this email that we've sent you, a list of Arizona's exemptions, and it looks a lot like this. Anything that you own that's on this sheet of paper is protected under Arizona law. If you have any questions about what property you own specifically that might be protected or not protected, please feel free to give me a call or schedule an appointment and let's get back together. But let's define what's protected for a moment or two. First of all, the property that's protected is the part of it that you own. In other words, your equity in property. If you have a car that you owe $10,000 on and it's only worth $6,000, well, that car is upside down by $4,000. There is no equity in the car. Now, let's change the scenario. Let's say you owe $2,500 and it's worth $6,000, then you have $3,500 worth of equity. If you owe nothing and the car is worth $6,000, then you have $6,000 worth of equity. When we talk about exemptions, we're talking about the part of the property that you own that would be protected, and that is the exempt equity in the property. Well, what is protected? What assets are on this list of exemptions that we've sent you? You can protect up to $150,000 equity in your home. That would include a site-built home, a condominium, an association, a mobile home and the land upon which it resides, as long as you are residing within the property or have resided in the property as your residence within the last 2 years and have not abandoned your homestead. You can protect up to $150,000 equity under the homestead laws. Now, everything that's not real estate is called personal property. Personal property exemptions include you can protect equity in a motor vehicle up to $6,000. If you have a dependent that is physically disabled, you could protect $12,000 in a motor vehicle. And remember, when we talk about these exemptions, with the exception of the homestead exemption, you can stack exemptions between a husband and a wife. Spouses can claim the equity or their exemptable equity in one asset. So let's say that I had a car that were worth $9,000. Well, my vehicle exemption is only going to protect the first $6,000. So if my spouse joins with me, then we could protect the entire $9,000 equity in the motor vehicle. We can also protect, under Arizona's newly minted exemption law, household goods, furnishings, appliances, and electronics up to $6,000 per individual. Now, it's real important that you remember that when we talk about your property, we're not talking about your children's property or your parents' property or property that you are storing for somebody else. We're talking about the stuff that just belongs to you. But $6,000 gives us plenty of leeway. We're talking for refrigerators, washer, dryer, television, stereo, beds, dressers, coffee table, end table, couch, love seat. These are household goods, and they are exempted or exemptable and protected up to $6,000 now. Between a husband and a wife, then that would be $12,000 worth of joint household goods. Most of our homes, for most of us, are not going to have more than $12,000 equity in personal property or household furnishings. Other personal property items that we can exempt include tools of our trade. The things that we use in our business or our profession are protected up to $5,000. And that's a little bit complicated. So if you have any questions with regard to tools of the trade that might be exemptable or protectable, please schedule an appointment to meet with me in my office or over the phone, and we'll discuss what could be exposed or what is totally protected. We can protect clothing under the exemption laws up to $500. We can protect musical instruments up to $400. We can also protect domesticated pets up to $800. A home computer can be protected up to $1,000. A wedding or engagement ring is protectable under the exemption laws up to $2,000. 6 months supply of food fuel and provisions for yourself and for your immediate family, those who are your dependents, is protected under the exemption laws. Finally, there's still personal property, but it's called intangible types of assets, as opposed to a typewriter or a computer that you can hold and is tangible. Intangible assets include bank accounts that are protected up to $300. You also can protect prepaid rents and security deposits up to $2,000. You can protect life insurance proceeds for someone who has passed away and left you as the beneficiary up to $20,000, or cash value life insurance policies where you've listed your spouse or a sibling or a parent and you've had the policy for more than 2 years. You can exempt the cash value up to $25,000. These items can get very technical. It's important that you get the advice of an experienced consumer bankruptcy attorney. I'd be delighted to be that consumer bankruptcy attorney. I'm sorry that you have to come and meet or talk to anybody about financial problems, but if it's something you need to talk to someone about, I'm glad that you're speaking with my office at Farnsworth Law Offices. We pride ourselves in taking a look at each case as though it were our own personal financial situation, and we will treat the matter and advise you as though we woke up tomorrow morning in your shoes. Let me ask a huge favor of you. Well, let's call it a little bitty favor. Please don't transfer any assets away to anybody because you think you're doing the right thing. You think you're helping your case. You've got some great advice from a neighbor or a family member or a friend who knows something or thinks they know something about bankruptcy. Just sit still. Give us a call, schedule an appointment. Don't transfer anything away, because much of the time when my clients have transferred something before they meet with me, it's either undoable or it puts the asset in greater jeopardy than it was in before. I look forward to meeting with you personally. I'll look forward, and it would be my honor to represent you if you need to file a bankruptcy or need any type of a debt relief representation.